Welcome to Carburetor Garage. If you're new here, I am Dan and I make videos about building motorcycles and giving you the inspiration and skills that you need to build one that you can be proud of. But today, we're working on Crystal's CB400. Let's get into it. Crystal and I have been bouncing ideas back and forth about building her a custom cafe racer or scrambler style motorcycle. This whole project idea has just been pushed into high gear because I've got my trailer hitched. I'm on my way to pick her up. She lives in Brisbane, which is about an hour away from me, and we're going to go and have a look at a CB400, which is also in Brisbane. After checking the bike out and hearing it run, it was having a few little issues trying to idle. Has a small little oil leak, but I think these things we can deal with. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but apart from that, I think it's a perfect candidate for exactly what she wants. After negotiating a good price on this bike, we decided to grab it, throw it on the trailer, and head back home. Before we get started, I just want to give you a quick overview of what's on the bike, what we're taking off, what we're changing, and one of the coolest modifications that's actually on this bike right now. So first things first, you can see there's some modifications being done on this bike. The tank isn't original. I'm not sure what the tank was from, if anything, if it's just a custom tank or if it's actually off a motorcycle. There's a few things like this that have been done. And also on the chain guard to give it a little bit of a racy look. The speedo is actually broken, which is going to get replaced anyways. You can see the needle snapped. She absolutely hates these guys, so these have got to come off. We've got to replace these with something different. The actual forks are in really good condition. The seals don't seem to be leaking, and there's no pitting whatsoever to here. So we've had a conversation about possibly doing spoked wheels on these. We're also going to be removing the exhaust wrap from these pipes, and if the pipes are any good underneath, we'll vapor blast them and paint them or coat them. But if they're not, we will rewrap them and have them looking nice and smart. The massive filters that are attached to what happens to be the best modification on this bike, which are a set of Maconis. They're going to make this purr like a kitten when we're done with it. So Crystal actively wants to be involved in this build, and so I'm going to give her some tools and teach her how to do some things so she can have a go at them herself. She likes that scrambler look with the knobblier tires and the higher seated position, and I may even look at doing something to the subframe. This is not the first time of her owning a bike. She used to own an MT-07, and she had that for a little length of time, and so this is not her first bike, but it is her first project bike. So Crystal's due to arrive tomorrow, and the first thing that I want to do is try and get this bike idling perfectly. It runs, but it doesn't idle, and I suspect it's something to do with the carburetors. So let's start there, pull the carburetors off, clean them right up, put them back on the bike, and see how it goes. So first thing we need to do is get these carburetors off the bike, tear them down so that we can get those jets out, because I suspect there's going to be a little bit of old gunk or dried up fuel in those idler jets, which is causing it not to run properly, or at least idle. Oh man, that's a huge difference to that needle. Wow, that's awesome. So even these guys came up looking amazing. Using that ultrasonic cleaner has cleaned up everything except one of these jets still had a little bit of hard dried out fuel inside it. So getting a little bit of wire as thin as you can, maybe a wire brush or something like that, and just sort of poke it through, and then blasting some compressed air through it to make sure that there's definitely nothing left in there, and then you're good to go. So that's probably all the problem is. I would like to vapor blast these eventually. Right now I just want to clean them up, put them on the bike and get the bike running perfectly, and then later down the track when we do some more work to the bike, we'll vapor blast them and make them look amazing. So the solution that I'm using in my ultrasonic cleaner is just a general purpose degreaser most of the time, and I put the heat on about 60 degrees C. But recently a friend of mine has given me a sample of something that he swears by, so I'm using that right now and I'm pretty impressed with it. I actually don't know what it's called because it's only a sample, so when I do find out, I'll leave that link in the description below for you. And that seems like all it needed, just a little bit of a carby clean, and now the bike is running and idling perfectly, which is great timing because it's the following morning. Crystal has recently arrived. We've been discussing what we're going to do, and the first order of operation is give the bike a clean, degrease it, and then bring it in so we can do the teardown. Getting the guns out.
I don't have guns. Looks like a lady with a G-string on.
How can we fix what?
The shitty welding.
Ah, that's when I will weld it and make it better. That's what I do. How's that height for you? All right, thanks. How have you stayed so clean? I bet you're glad to get rid of those.
Oh, so long, loser.
Wouldn't believe it, we just lost. We even check in the bin. Give you a hint. "25 minutes later." So Crystal had to leave for today and I continued working on the bike and getting the tyres and the rims separated, taking the rims down and having them sandblasted and then painting them myself. The reason I used paint rather than powder coat is because these alloy rims, they do not recommend you should powder coat them due to the heating process when they bake the powder on. So if you have these Honda Comstar wheels that are riveted together, definitely think about paint rather than powder coating. So this is the beginning of an awesome bike building journey for Crystal, and one of the first things I like to do to a bike when I first get it is get the tyres and wheels on straight away. Gives you almost like a foundation to work up from, but it looks so damn cool once you do it, and it inspires you to keep going. If you want to see more like this, be sure to let Crystal know in the comments below and give her your thoughts on the bike. And if you want to see part 2, I'll leave it right here. And if you want to see a few more videos just like this one, starting with how to build a template exhaust out of a PVC pipe, I'll leave that video right here.